But Chuck, man, like, so where did you grow up?
I grew up in South Carolina, small town, a lot of South Carolina, dirt road type thing. I was there until 18, then I came here to Columbia to go to Benedict College at HBCU.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool, man. What was was there any comic book stores out there?
Nope, no comic
No.
book at all, man.
Oh, man.
My comic book exposure was basically you went to the local pharmacy or drugstore and they had the little spin rack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
kind of where I got my comics from, and my exposure was Saturday morning cartoons and things of that sort. So I don't
Nice.
think I actually visited my first comic book store until I went to college, honestly. Because most of my stuff was just from, local, tiny little mom and pop shops where I got my comics from. But my first comic book shop was Heroes and Dragons when I went to college. And that's when I was writing when I was a kid, but I didn't really consider it writing. I was just making up characters and give them origins and powers, but I didn't really think about it as a career at all. It's just something I like to do. And I didn't really start writing until I got to college and met like individuals that were trying to put their own stuff out there and self-publishing.
So what characters were you drawn into when you first started reading?
Spider-Man,
Aw.
a lot of Spider-Man. Batman.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
That's right,
Yeah.
Chuck. That's right, Chuck.
Just
Sorry, I hate Spider-Man.
Oh, he
not the
does.
same,
Don't
Chuck.
mind him. Don't
Don't
mind
mind
him.
him.
My
Just,
man, how do you hate Spider-Man? No one hates
I'm an asshole.
Chuck,
I am an
please tell him.
asshole. I flat out say it.
Please tell him.
I know. Tell him.
Man. Well, anyway, yeah, Spider-Man. My older brothers didn't read comic books, but they were like really into Batman a lot. So I had a lot of that stuff laying around, kind of influencing me too. Because I'm a bit of a late bloomer, A lot of my other friends and colleagues, they started young and they had huge comic book collections, but I didn't have a whole lot of exposure, growing up.
Your big
Yeah.
brothers? We were big brothers in the comics too?
No, they weren't really.
No?
They had like a couple here. No, they weren't really at all, really.
Okay.
I mean, they were just into the Batman the cartoon and the Batman show from back in the day.
Mhm.
They were,
Oh, yeah, man.
Sure.
they used to really, my dad, before he passed, he bought them a go-kart, right? And that became their like Batmobile and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Story
Nice.
about it,
Oh, okay.
dress up and drive around in that. So, they have
Oh,
huge,
yeah.
but they really helped kind of expose me to that world of geekdom in a sense,
It's always the big brothers, man. It's always gets into comics and Playboys, right? Like, it's just what they do, man. It's just what they do. It's what they're good for.
Or you got a cool uncle,
My uncle, yeah, he didn't know about it. But I just sneaked to his stash. He didn't.
Yeah, I
Good
know,
as well.
man. Yeah, you always find that stash, man. Like
Right.
like me, I found my big brothers had comics and Playboys in one stash. So I was looking at Playboys while I was looking at Captain America at the same time, bro. It was crazy.
What kind of superpower does she have?
I know.
Great job.
The enticing one.
So what character did you latch on to, man, at an early age?
Yeah, it was. I mean, honestly, like I said, we didn't have a whole lot of comic book shops. I didn't have a whole lot of comic books in the beginning, so it was just Saturday morning cartoons and Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends. Honestly, that
Oh,
was,
well, yeah, definitely.
Taking it.
and Batman. That was the main two I really latched on to. But as I got older, it was really Spawn that influenced me.
Al Simmons. Yeah.
Al Simmons, when he, because the episode when he took off his mask, it was like, oh shit, Spawn's black, and on top of all his unique stuff,
Yep.
he's doing what he wants in his comics, and the artwork is so amazing, and all the stuff he did on Spider-Man, that was cool. So, yeah, those three characters were a huge influence on me, Spawn, Spider-Man, and Batman stuff.
So Chuck, you mentioned like in college is when you started to really start writing and kind of developing your own characters. Have you used any of that and I mean, was that like the first iteration of like Bitterroot or anything that you've kind of created since then?
I think when I was in college, the story called American Empire, right? And at the time it was kind of, I think it was my interest in politics at the time, and it was about a world behind a world where America wasn't really America. It was controlled by some ancient, secret society manipulating us from the shadows, and that was somewhat the birth of On the Stump at the time, you know,
Mhm.
and we published those books in, our area code's called 803. So we called our studio 803 Studios. A bunch of local guys just dreaming of wanting to be in comics. So as a writer, you know, you can't get work just going to a con. You got to have a book in your hand. We realized that. We
Mhm.
got to do it if you want to be it. So we self-published a lot of stuff. And I think American Empire may have been kind of the spark for On the Stump, in a sense. Yeah.
Nice.
No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, like On the Stump is very like behind the scenes. It's very political.
Love
I
it.
mean, I like how it integrates a lot of kind of what's going on today into that book. You know, when I first read the first issue, I was like, man, this is pretty intense. You know, and then
Right.
getting into the second one, I was like, all of this stuff is happening behind the scenes. I mean, it's great.
Right. And I mean, that's like as I got older and evolved more, I started thinking more of my characters. I wanted to be more about me as much as possible, and I think that's where Bitterroot kind of came from. You know, characters that reflect who I am and my experiences and my past and my history, or our history in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, definitely
originally-
our history.
Yeah. It was originally it was a pitch for Vertigo, right? And you know, and back then, and even now, DC is like Fort Knox trying to get into DC at the time. So I think it was a pitch I was working up, and I don't know if my mind kind of got frustrated with trying to break into the industry because I wasn't getting any work or making any breaks. So maybe I just kind of started developing it myself or something. I can't really exactly remember, but from my early days, that's kind of where On the Stump came from. Just trying to do this pitch that reflects who I am and trying to be true to myself about what I want to do instead of just wanting to write Batman or just wanting to write Spider-Man. Those characters don't look like me, you know.
Mhm.
So
Right.
There's just so much depth too. I mean, there's a message in your writing, you know, especially with Bitterroot. Just you know, to have like the premise of an infected society of bigotry and racism and hate, and just to developing into these monsters, Genos and stuff like that, and just having this family rich in it, and it's kind of like exciting. I mean, it really says a lot. I mean, I really loved this read, just picking it up, and I'm excited. I haven't got on the Stump yet, but I'm excited to kind of lean into that. I usually want to, like, you had me on issue 10 of Bitterroot. I was like, oh my god, when's the third one coming? When's the third trade coming? Because I like the trades to read them all, bang them out all the way through. But the issues,
might be a while, but issue 11 is going to be next year sometime. We're not maybe. Well, I don't know if we're saying this, but I don't know. Maybe March of next year, issue 11 will be out early. I'm not sure.
So I love that Bitterroot's place in Harlem Renaissance. Like, where'd you get that idea, man? Like, that's like such a great idea for a book, in regards to like what you're trying to get at in the story, like it's awesome,
The Harlem Renaissance was always fascinating to me because they had this huge influence on American culture and the world.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, we could play in the Cotton Club, but we couldn't go in the Cotton Club. It's like they did all this amazing stuff through all this oppression, and I kind of related to that where I was just trying to break into the industry, and it's what I wanted to do and what I loved, but another side of me had to, I had to have a day job. I got a father and a husband, and I got to take care of all the stuff that I have to take care of, but there's all these forces, unseen and within, keeping me from out of the industry. Maybe I'm not working hard enough. Maybe there's something I'm not doing right. I have to perfect my grammar. I have to get out there more. So the character Cullen, he is during the time of the Harlem Renaissance, and he wants to, at the time, it's kind of different now. That's what makes Bitterroot so special. David Walker came in and Sanford Green came in, and we kind of, all of our ideas and our passions kind of gave birth to something very special. But at the time when I was creating it in the beginning, it was more about Cullen wanting to be a poet and a writer during the Harlem Renaissance, the New Negro movement, what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to be a part of that culture, but on the other side, he had this great responsibility to his family, where he had to basically be that line in the sand from keeping the world from ending. Basically, he had to hunt his demon creatures, but he couldn't be in his full self. So, when I created it originally, it was more all about Dr. Sylvester being a part of the trauma and the pain and racism. And he was just so sick of it. When he got infected, he became this new kind of creature that wanted, like, enough is enough. Somewhat early Malcolm X, by any means necessary. We are going to prevail, and you're going to stop torturing us, whether you like it or not. And the Thingiris is more or less Martin Luther King, where they were like, there's still hope for the world where we can cure these infected creatures, in a sense, And when David came on board, he was like, well, that's a cool concept. But Dr. Sylvester was like, well, what if we made all the monsters based on racism? I'm like, oh, shit. Hey, let's do it. That sounds even dope. And so it's all this different cool stuff. And then Sam with his designs and stuff, it's just a perfect storm just came together, man. I'm really, really proud of the book. I never imagined it would be as popular as it is, and the things that it's accomplished, and the people that it will touch, So, I'm very thankful. Very thankful.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've been. I have friends that are still teachers out in West Oakland. I put them onto it, man, so that they can put it in their classrooms. Because what I really enjoy about your books is that after you read an issue, the last pages give it context. You get a lot of history in there, man. I thought I was a historian because I love history and I read a lot about it, especially all the civil rights movements and everything else. And you guys break it down, bro. Like, especially on the Stump, I was like, really, there was a society? I was like, huh, that's crazy,
I mean, big shout out to John Jennings and Julian Chambers, the scholars that did the back matter for On the Stump and Bitterroot. When John first approached us with this, that just blew my mind that he wanted to be a part of it, because I had a huge amount of respect for John Jennings before they even started Bitterroot. The fact that he wanted to be a part of it and he was so excited about it, and him and David had been talking about things back and forth. It was a dream come true having them come on board, putting that, the historical facts behind what's going on in Bitterroot, the context we're trying to reach people about. They kind of broaden that in their essays.
No, it's great. It's to Ian's point. We're not only it's a fun read, and it does pertain to a lot of what's happening in today's world, but you're also getting, like, unbeknownst to the reader, like, you're getting an education in history in the back. When I saw that, I was like, what is this? And I started to read some more. I was like, this is some good stuff.
Right.
And I also liked how I think it was like the first set that you had, like, in memory of Stan Lee, at the top of every issue as well.
Yeah. That was, of course, you guys know that was really hard to see him pass on. So that was, that was really a moment. So you definitely wanted to pay homage.
So I wanted to ask, man, because I'm always interested, because when I read your books, it's so, like, in depth. This might be a little personal question, but, like, when you went to college, what did you major in, man? Like, because sometimes some people just tell me, like, they're so in depth and they tell me they major in, like, computer science. I'm like, but you're really in depth in history. But I just want to ask you, man, like, what did you major in?
Marketing.
Marketing. See, I told you, right? Right. Like, it's like, you didn't even. I would have thought you were like an English history major like me, like, because it's so well written and everything, and so in depth.
There's a lot of different people involved, like with David and John Jennings, they help make me look good. So that's all I can say, man. I kind of think about my stuff on the surface, I don't claim to be a scholar or anything like that, but I do research things very deeply, and in the stuff you research, we start going into history. It really touches you on a personal level, and you want to learn more. You want to get that message out to people, No,
I'm telling you, my teachers in West Oakland, my friends that I still have over there, they're using your book as a history book to talk about the Harlem Renaissance, That's awesome. So, because I told them, like, this is great, man. You could smell Harlem and the Renaissance in here, like, you can smell early New York, like, it's, early, I guess it's like downtown, right? Or downtown New York, it's like, it's awesome, man. So, and I think, I don't know, man. Hopefully it'll get, I tell one teacher and they use it in their class, and then maybe it might become part of the curriculum out there. Who knows, man?
I'm trying to work up a proposal now where I can kind of reach as many universities as I can to get books in their hands, and I, definitely come on and talk to the classes and stuff, because I think it will be a great teaching tool because it'll help kids get engaged more. Because I still have a day job. I'm a so I majored in marketing in college, but my day job is IT, computer science. And I'm an IT guy in the history department of a university. So I'm
right.
People all the time. So I'm writing stuff and I'm researching stuff, reading articles out. And I'll come by their office and say, hey, can you pick your brain about something? Like, yeah, that did happen. It's like, Harriet Tubman really did have visions when she was, rescuing this. I was like, wow, that's really true. Yeah, that's documented. She was an African conjurer. And I'm like, it's incredible stuff is getting, validated by these brilliant professors. It's really cool being in that environment. I have a lot of freedom. It's still my day job for now, but, working in the history department and also working in the student health department as well in IT, that all has influences on my work and my day-to-day work, and it seeps in, because when I was working in the student health center at IT, that's why I kind of had the idea of curing these demons with some kind of serum or some kind of, as some kind of bloodborne pathogen. That's kind of where I got the idea for that. And then working in the history department, I get to dig deeper into like African American history and our own history, and from the outside, you think history is pretty damn boring, right? But when I started working there, I see all these different avenues. There's gaming. There's a professor that does nothing but gaming history. So it's incredible. Gaming and computer, and he does gaming in his class with Civilization to teach his classes. There's so much different stuff.
That's dope.
And ways to learn. So, why not comics? Why not have I saw his professor that does comics in her class, Southern comics, just Southern comics in her class.
Yeah. It's just amazing to see the bits and pieces that kind of went into Bitterroot,
Yeah, it's so much stuff. And not to mention, David and Sanford's experiences, all they experience and all, and how we get on each other's nerves and what that brings out in the story,
How did you and David and Sanford hook up?
Man, me and Sanford, we've been collaborating. Like I mentioned, we won a Ringo Award for a webcomic called 1000, right? Mm-hmm. And Sanford lives here in South Carolina. He's like literally down the road from me.
Oh,
and
nice.
We were friends before we started collaborating or anything. And one of our mutual acquaintances, Bruce Brown, passed away. He was kind of like Sanford's writing collaborator, and they were working on a project called Dragon 7. And it never got finished. And Sanford wanted to get it finished, in memory of his friend. And he had known I'd been doing a lot of stuff, publishing a lot around town, but we never worked together. And he said, hey, would you want to try writing the script and help me develop this thing to get it out there for Bruce? And that was our first project, 1000, that we won the Ringo for. Mm-hmm. We just kind of printed up our own books at a small publisher and sold them at cons and things of that sort. And from there, me and Sanford did Rotten Apple, that got published through Darkhorse, and then we started developing Bitterroot, and then David and Sanford started doing Power Man and Iron Fist, and that blew up, and that's how I met David, through Sanford and Power Man and Iron Fist, and we all kind of came together, and like I said, it was just a perfect storm.
So are you with the rumblings of Bitterroot and everything like that, and it being such a successful series, are you excited that Ryan Coogler is picking this up and making a movie out of it? That's that to me, that's just awesome, because I could see it be a movie, and I think this is a great way to really deliver a message. It's very commonly things that we see and things that we do, right? We're all interested in like this pop culture, this comics and everything else, and there's always a message and little gems and pockets of gems of what the writers are living through and what they're creating. I just think that it being a movie, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. It's going to be action packed and everything.
I'm a pretty low key guy, but I like to dream big. I'm not gonna lie, I like to dream big, but I never in a million years saw this coming. The fact that he was actually picking up the books and reading the books and care about the books, and you hear about how they'll interview different screenwriters, and they'll say, hey, we may want to bring it into its present day times, and I hear he'll be like, no, it has to be now, and it has to be this, because he cares about the project, and he knows about the project, and knows about the book, and that's just icing on the cake, man. it's still very surreal, very honored, and the fact that he cares about the book, and I know it's in good hands. I know it can get out to a wider audience with him, and so yeah, I'm very.
And how do you feel about like it? I mean, Bitterroot, it's probably gonna be a movie, man. It's perfect for the movies, and you got Ryan Coogler, who got it, man, who's from my town too. But like your Bitterroot really touches like it's not such a book, it's not just a movie, but it touches like society right now and what's going on. Like, let's keep it real, man. Like, this country's pretty fucked up right now, right? But like your book actually touches that, you know, and it really holds it, what's going on, like the hate, the fear, the racism, and this unpredictable world we live in. How do you feel about being part of that, man? Because I think like 50 years from now, people are gonna look at Bitterroot and be like, dang, that was during then, you know, like it's gonna be part of like, you know, like American history, you know?
Yeah, like way before its time too, and it continues to be in time's presence, and like the message is there.
Right. You know, that's kind of my goal in all my writing, man. Just to try to say something to the world and try to hopefully, you know, bring a message to people. Like I said, living here in South Carolina, you know, it's not the most inclusive state in the world, right? So I was doing a signing at a local con, and a guy comes in, and you know, maybe I'm being stereotypical, but he looks like, you know, stereotypical white South Carolinian, you know. I'm kind of worried this guy's like, you know, gonna make, you know, run up on me. And he looks at me and he comes over and says, "Hey man, is Bird gonna be okay in issue so and so?" And I'm like,
"Oh, nice.
I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, he'll be all right." I mean, you know, he has the, you know, the accent and everything, you know. And I'm like, "It's gonna be fine." He's like, "Man, I really love this book, man. I pick it up every time." So, you know, I'm not saying he was any certain kind of bias or anything, but even if he was, he's loving the story. But also that message is somewhat getting through to people, hopefully, you know. Well, I mean, it's enlightening you all here, but I also want to, I don't know if it's possible, but you know, convert some deplorables. You know what I'm saying? So
well, it's one of those books that, at least for me as a white guy, I don't feel that it's like attacking. You know what I mean? I feel relatable to the characters.
Right.
And so it's one of those things I'm reading, I'm enjoying it, and then I'm getting education on the back end.
Right.
Because I'll be honest, I didn't know much about the Harlem Renaissance. I didn't know a lot of the stuff on the back end of that type of stuff, and it has me going out and looking at it.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I could care less what color anyone is, but something like that would never cross my mind to even look at.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just kind of curious, because I love writers like that kind of put an education out there. Is there any other writers that you kind of are into that kind of put a message out there to kind of expand people's minds? Because I know there's some that I love to read that are like that.
I mean, like I said, David, I mean, before I even started working with David, he was like a huge influence on me as well. Because I see his sometimes before we really even talk, I used to see his posts about his issues with depression and being honest about it, and he'll put, you know, stuff about racism in his books, Empowerment and Iron Fist, and that had a huge influence on me. So I mean, before he was you know, my co-writer, I mean, I was a huge fan and a huge amount of respect for him. So I'd have to say David, honestly. And when I create something, I don't really create. I don't set out to create a black book or a black message. I just create, and I'm creating a reflection of who I am and my own experiences. And I'm like I said, I'm not here to hit people over the head with anything, but I also want to get a message to people as well. You know, I want to entertain and also educate at the same time. You know.
And I'm sorry if that came off as me saying that you're trying to do a black message of that type.
No. People ask that all the time. You know, I see posts of people saying, you know. I don't
think they read your books, though, the people that make those posts. Because it doesn't come across as that. It just comes across as a great comic book, you know?
Right. And that's the whole point. And I think that should be the goal of any kind of art or comic or anything, is to put a message out there, you know? And on the Stump, you know, I intentionally wanted people beating the hell out of each other. I intentionally put the profanity, the amount of profanity that I put in the book, I did it intentionally, kind of just spoke myself, but also snuck in that real deep message, like I said, like what's going on in the world right now. You know, it's almost people beating the hell out of each other in the ring to decide election is almost, nothing compared to what's going on in the world right now. How insane.
Bro, On the Stump was right on it, man. When I watched the presidential election, I was thinking about On the Stump. It was like, it was just like, it was a mess. There was no blood, but the whole thing was a freaking mess.
Yeah,
It's an embarrassment to our country. Damn sure.
And I'm not gonna lie, in 2016, I was a part of it because I was like, 2015, 2014, maybe. I was like, I used to sign on to CNN or wherever, or like, what did that fool Trump say today? It was like insane entertainment. Like, what is going on today? So people would be drawn to people beating the hell out of each other in the ring and be distracted by all these policies and Supreme Court justices and judges that are being put in behind the scenes that's going to affect our kids,
Yep.
20 years from now, 50 years from now, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Like, let's talk about On the Stump, man. That when I read the first couple of issues, man, I brought it up as one of our top picks, and these guys' minds were like, "What the?
Yep.
Really? This book?" I was like, "Yeah, man. This shit is as real as you can get, like from like a comic book perspective, right? Like, injecting senators with that serum so they can beat each other's asses, man, to pass bills for a corporation. Like that's lobbying, right? Like that's what's happening right now, but it's all money, right? Like it's dope.
It's a lot of it's a lot about a lot of distraction. At first I thought maybe I was packing in too much. I was trying to pack in social injustice and crooked policies and the whole Twitter culture where the most popular person and it's kind of gets the most votes in a sense, all about looks and gender and things of that sort. And I just wanted to kind of just my truest self out there as far as how I feel about the political system in the world right now. And it's probably one of the rawest things I've ever written as far as, the amount of violence and my opinions on things. So yeah, I just hope people enjoy it, man. I just try to put out as much as I can. Oh
man, I think if you're on either side of the political spectrum, man, like you can agree, like there's a lot of fuckery going on in Washington.
Yeah.
Fuckery afoot.
Fuckery afoot, bro. Like Mel V says.
Yeah, and I intentionally don't call anybody a Republican or Democrat. I intentionally don't do that with the senators because I want everybody to read it and enjoy it and see that as American and human beings, we're all getting fucked over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole point,
If you ain't Bezos and you ain't and you don't own Apple, bro, we're getting fucked over.
Yeah.
We're getting fucked over.
Not launching cars into space, you're fucked. Yeah.
How did you pitch this over to it's Image, right? How did you pitch this?
Basically, I had it all written up. I have like a format of how I pitch things. I reached out to Prezi first because I was kind of worried about, if anyone was going to pick this book up because of the content. And so I reached out to Prezi because we had talked a couple years back and forth. And I just produced the book. I just produced issue 1. And if Image didn't want it, I was going to do it online or print it up myself or whatever I had to do. But it's just one of those books I just had to get out because it's in my head for so long and I had to get the message out. So I pitched it as a full issue, all lettered, all written. And I just sent it over to Eric Stevenson directly because we had already had a relationship because of Bitterroot success. I had a direct line to him, just kind of send him stuff, say, hey, this is what I have next. What do you think? And again, I thought with the success of Bitterroot, it wouldn't be as difficult to get another book out there, but it was hella difficult. I sent him the pitch, and 3 months went by and I didn't hear anything. So I was like, damn. I hit him up and to check, and he's like, yeah, I'll get to it as soon as I can, and then I don't hear anything after that. So I'm like, this dude is not feeling this book at all. So I flew to San Diego Comic-Con, for the con in general, and I was supposed to meet him out there to talk to him about the book, right? So I chased him around the con and finally met him at the Image booth, and he said, yeah, it's kind of packed here. I'm gonna be at North Carolina Comic-Con in about 2 months. Are you gonna be there? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. I wasn't gonna be there. I actually made a point to go to the con. So we met at the con. We had lunch. And I'm like, this dude's gonna tell me no after 6 months. And I was like, so what do you think? I said, yeah, I want to publish it. Yeah, I just want to get some more information about it. She asked me a couple of questions. So I want to I think you should change the cover here and there, change the logo. And I was green-lit, but I had to jump through a hell of a lot of hoops just to get green-lit, you know? So, that was about that hustle, man. Just get it, because it really meant a lot to me. Like I said, if he had said no, that's fine. I would have put it out anyway. But I really like having the image because the design team is incredible. Everyone that works there is amazing. The editors there, the marketing people, all of them are really supportive, really hardworking people, and I love working with Image, putting stuff out there. So that's why I really want to get it through Image, and get it as many hands as I can. So that's how I got on the Stump greenlit. You know, it was a little different because David and Sanford were big time from Power Man and Iron Fist, so they just like, yo, we want to do a book. I was like, yeah, okay. So that was pretty much it. So now I'm still pitching more stuff to Eric. Hopefully that'll be out next year. So we'll see where it goes. So I work with Prezi again on a couple of things. So we'll see what else we put out.
Is that incognito right now, or?
Yeah. Because it's not green lit. I don't. And we gotta see where it goes. Like I said, it's gonna come out. I'm gonna produce it, kind of thing. But gotta make sure I have the funds to pay Prezi and get the issue done. I'd like it to be an Image, but I'll go wherever I gotta go to get it out, that sort of thing. So it's still on the lines of Bitterroot and on the Stump where there's a message, but really it's more broader message about, I guess, the human psyche in general.
So you're kind of talking about this already. So what other projects are you working on? I mean, anything that we can expect, like at a certain date, or different artists, or different just different books that are coming out?
Well, I have a book of short stories that's coming out. It's called Short Complex. You can go to shortcomplex.com now to subscribe. Not a lot of details yet, but I'm hoping to announce something maybe the end of the month. I'm probably going to do a Kickstarter to get those book of short stories out. The short stories all are accompanied by different images throughout the book. So it's a kind of a mixture of prose and, comic book images in a sense. It's kind of adding to the stories that I've written, the 6 stories, all sci-fi stories.
Nice.
So it's one of those things I've been wanting to get out forever, but my background is so much comics. So this is my first book of prose. So I figured, why not do a Kickstarter to get it out there in the world, just to get it in people's hands,
Nice.
No, and I'll put all the links down there, man, for for people to hook up with that your new project going on. But hey, man, Chuck, we want to thank you for being on, man. We really appreciate your time, and I want to say that Eisner's well deserved. It was, if you didn't win it for Bitterroot, I was gonna be like, that shit's bullshit, because it's like the best.
This is ridiculous.
Your book means a lot.
We were against Immortal Hulk, so I was kind of surprised maybe Immortal Hulk. But hey, I really love, so I was, real honored to win that thing, man. It's really cool, It's really cool.
I know Immortal Hulk is good, man. You guys beat a good book.
Oh, there it is.
Nice.
Oh, there it is.
So dope.
Very nice.
Wow, look at that.
Man.
So unreal, man. So unreal, man.
Oh,
So
man.
cool. That is so cool, man.
Hey, go ahead. Go,
I was gonna say, so yeah, I mean, during that year, you got the Eisner. It was also Little Bird too. I mean, so those were two really good books that just came out. And what was your feeling when you got the call and when you heard the news? I mean, was this just such a? I mean, you must have felt elated. I mean, just.
It's hard to describe, man, because they had to tell us that we won it before they did the ceremony and everything, right? So we can, prepare and everything. So we got the email from our image publisher saying, "Hey guys, I want to let you know you won the Eisner." And I just paused to myself reading the email. I'm like, I just won a fucking Eisner. Like it was
so
it's just unreal, man. It's still unreal. I feel, a lot of imposter syndrome is definitely bombarding me like all the time. So. All I can say is I'm honored, man. I'm honored and I'm proud and I'm happy to share it with, Sanford and David. We're all over the moon. Yeah.
No, congratulations, man. It's well deserved.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you,
where else can the Team Nerd audience follow you, man? Follow you and Bitterroot and everything else.
Go to you can go to onthestumpcomic.com. All of my Facebook, Twitter links, and Instagram links are there. I use Twitter a lot. I'm cbrown803 on Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot, so please follow me on there.
Nice.
Cool.
My son will kill me if I don't tell you to go to his gaming channel, Ogun Games, Ogun 7897 Games. So go check out his.
we definitely got some gamers in here, probably.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, go check his gaming channel there.
Yeah.
Look at all the gamer headphones here. There's two.
No,
of them.
yeah,
So,
that's right.
That's how you could tell, man.
Who want to get sniped? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who had the PlayStation 5? Which one do you have one of? Or gonna get one? Or Xbox? I don't know your preference. You already got one?
Well, I got it through Amazon. I'm just waiting for it to come.
How did you get it? I mean, you must have been sitting.
He is a sucker.
He knows how to get them, bro.
He's a mover and a shaker, Chuck.
Well, we need to talk after the Alonzo. We need to talk after the podcast.
We literally have a thread of all of our people that kind of talk to each other, and the day that it came out, they were like, "Here's the Target link, sold out. Here's the GameStop link,
here's a Walmart link."
I mean, the thing went through like 20 different places. It was nuts.
I just want to play that Miles Morales. That's my thing.
It does look cool.
I missed the last Spider-Man game because I didn't have a PlayStation, but I'm not gonna miss it this time.
Well,
That Miles game looks
The
dope.
good thing is you'll be able to play isn't the new PS5 supposed to be compatible with the 4 and before? So you should be able to play the Spider-Man on the new PlayStation 5.
No, I don't have a PlayStation at all. This will be my first
Right,
PlayStation.
but I'm saying when you buy the 5,
You can
you'll be able to play Miles, and you'll be able to play that horrible Peter Parker one.
Oh, it was bad?
How dare you?
Oh no,
I
it
like
was
that.
not
I hate
bad.
Spider-Man.
No,
I hate Spider-Man. Remember
He
the
likes
context.
Miles though. He likes Miles.
I
He
like
doesn't
Miles.
He does
Peter
like,
Parker.
yeah.
He doesn't like
Yeah,
Peter Parker.
Best to like Miles. You best to like
Better,
Miles.
because you kick you off. You kick your ass off the show, bro.
Miles
Yeah.
at least has a personality.
Miles is dope.
Miles has a personality.
He's the man. He's the man.
He's not a crybaby.
No, that Gamerverse Spider-Man is dope. It is awesome.
I've heard
The
it.
graphics,
it's dope.
story, it's phenomenal. The designs of the
Mm-hmm.
costume of how it's fantastic.
But I heard it's basically Arkham Knights. It's basically the Batman. It's a Spider-Man version of Batman.
Stop hating, bro.
Not hating,
That's
man.
what I've heard.
Man.
I heard the game style's the same way. If you're going around the city doing different little.
They're
I've heard
all,
it's a great
they're all like
But,
that.
but from up there, not like, come on, man.
Not like in the sewers, like Batman. Come on.
Or in a car. Jesus, man.
Hey, I'd rather have a car.
Let's get on the stump right now, dude. We're gonna fight to the death, dude. I'm
Let's
a
go.
You really think you can beat me?
Spider-Man.
Let's go.
Spider-Man.
I'm
Bat-
Kingpin. Remember what Kingpin does to him?
I'm cholesterol.
Man.
Hey, but thank you again, Chuck, man. We appreciate it, man. And you can also find us at www.teamnerdherd.com. It'll come straight to us. And Chuck Brown, hey Chuck, you're always welcome to come on the show, man. And we appreciate you taking your time out your Sunday, man. But will you do us the honor and send us off?
Okay, if you want to do it right, collect what you like.
Very nice.
Really?
Take care, guys.
All right.